Hello everyone, my name is Fuckbucket, and today I'm gonna fuck a bucket, and if that's surprising to you, then you're fucking stupid. Sorry, I don't... Welcome everyone to Angels with Scaly Wings. My name is Declan, trained unprofessional. Today we're gonna play this here game, and this is what we're gonna be doing. I shaved and it looks fucking weird, but we're just gonna move on with it, shall we? Let's just move the fuck on, okay? Okay. The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home enclosed within the towering perimeter wall raced through my head. The peaceful landscape outside the apartment window stood in defiance of these old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue sky were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope. Oh, is someone at the door? Well, let's answer it. Who is it gonna be? Oh, fuck, it's you. Pierce, come with me. What's going on? You sound serious. The chief will explain everything when we arrive. Okay. I hope it... Well, we're not at the police chief station. Hey, Chief, Pierce is here. Thanks, Sebastian. You can deal with the situation here while I talk to Pierce, alright? Of course. Pierce, I've got some really bad news. What is it? You know Anna, right? I've met her, yes. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say this. Those few words were enough. Tread sinking, and I already knew. Don't. I ignored his words and walked past him. Damn! God damn! When I turned the corner, there was no mistaking her. Anna was haphazardly covered by a sheet, leaving her tail and a blood-stained hand exposed. In the end, she didn't even deserve full discretion. Are you okay? I'm fine, I guess. Yeah, I'm fine. Let's just get this over with. Bryce nodded. And here's some more bad news. The blood we found on the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence found on the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all three victims, and that's going to be a big problem for you. Why's that? Because with these three murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what'll happen once they do. I'm not sure what to say to that. I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that action will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while, and I think it might be best if you went back to your own world for now. This way, we can take action before the ministry does, and before all this becomes public. If we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here. No. No? This would be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and hardly have anything to show for it. We're owed several more generators, and let's not forget Reza's still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I return home with is my life. I'll have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal, or what they'll do with Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over. If that's your decision, then so be it. I'll have your back either way. Thanks, Bryce. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Pierce. In addition to the several things were stolen. Among them, your PDAs, batteries, and some components used to build generators. Does that ring any bells? Not really. Reza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the parts. Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Reza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick. Unless someone wanted to frame Reza in order to sabotage this whole operation. Do you really believe that? Hey, I'm just saying it's possible. I'll shelf that idea under possible, but unlikely. Hey, Chief, are we done here? Pretty much. Why do you ask? We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Pierce are to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately. Immediately, as in right now? Yeah, apparently. What's going on? To be frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation, and now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it. So the worst possibility, maybe it's going to be maybe it's not going to be a big deal. Maybe they're just going to throw a surprise party for us. I don't know if joking right now is the best idea, but playing the optimist doesn't seem to be something he would appreciate, and being a pessimist wouldn't work. Surprise party, motherfucker. Yeah, probably not. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you're done. We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting.
Sure thing, Chief.
Let's go then, shall we? It's not like we have a choice. And here we are again. Well, that was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer. Greetings, Minister. Greetings. Shall we go inside for our official business?
No, I've got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here, unless you have any objections.
I don't.
I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Reza's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long.
Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction. The murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found on the three murders now being linked together, and to him did your ministry have to become involved.
I see. So Reza's involvement is now undeniable?
I'm afraid so, Minister.
The facts are nothing to be afraid of, though in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my pure personal safety.
With our thick hides, I don't think our species has much to fear if we consider the murder weapon.
Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection?
Oh, for sure. If you're worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you.
Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, I'll certainly need it. Long days are endemic in my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question of what should be done about Reza and Pierce.
Minister, we continue to hunt for Reza every day. As a matter of fact, Pierce has been helping us do so for a while now.
Is that so? One human murderer, another detective. Interesting. And how do we know Pierce isn't following a similar plan to Reza's, whatever that may be?
Similar concerns were leveled at by Reza's escort, Maverick. It was his overreaction that caused Reza to run away in the first place.
Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Pierce, enlighten me. You and Reza came here on the same mission, and the situation has escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Reza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived. I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me.
Arguably, the problems that caused all this were apparent even then.
How so?
Maverick suspected Reza of planning something, but I didn't think he had a case.
Well, did he?
No, what he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Reza, he found both him and Pierce at the portal. The humans intended to send some of the promised generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Pierce wounded, and Reza running away. Reza's been missing ever since.
I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it?
I've no way of knowing that, Minister.
You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then.
Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter.
Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place?
Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard.
Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Reza's escort. Is that true?
Yes. Had I paid more attention to the warning signs, the situation may have been avoided.
So you accept responsibility for the incident?
Yes, Minister.
Oh, shit. He's gonna get fired. I don't want to see him fired. I see. Now, let us get back to the topic of Pierce. Reza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation, but we have no other choice but to be suspicious of Reza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us?
Bryce wouldn't let me say no. It was my best bet at finding the truth. It is beneficial to my actual mission. Well, that actual mission fucking is his best bet at finding the truth.
I thought Reza's involvement was undeniable at this point.
That may be true, but we still don't have the whole picture. We don't know if others are involved or his reasons. I just want to know why.
I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation and hearing both your accounts, I believe Pierce is trustworthy.
Well, that's fucking good!
Nevertheless, I think Pierce presents a great risk.
Oh, shit. Why is that?
After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know of the danger posed by Reza. No matter what Bryce and I think about your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Pierce, you might be in real danger yourself. Reza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you're helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be best if you return to your own world until the situation has been resolved.
I came to the very same conclusion, Minister.
Well, with your support, this is what shall be done. Please don't... You don't agree?
If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There's no way I can return without your generators or PDAs or Reza.
Well, maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Reza was.
But I was his partner, so in a way, he is my responsibility. I can't just go back like this.
I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh our reasons for sending you home.
Just let me explain. I'll tell you everything. Okay, I didn't know there was more to be told, so this is going to be interesting. Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours, even. Computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information. Even children had the power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With our PDAs, our interconnectedness with other people and our environment was greater than ever. From locomotion to repetitious I believe that's just repetitive. Why don't you just work and household chores? Many processes were automated to such a degree that, except for our jobs and hobbies, there was nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most prosperous time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancements had drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for strenuous and repetitive tasks. Education had reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet, one day, everything changed. Oh shit, that's the sun. A solar flare that was headed for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all others ever recorded in history. We had less than a week to prepare. Chaos hit much earlier than that as people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reoriented in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effect that would hit us. Despite humanity's contingency plan for such an event and all our efforts, we were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our race had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable against this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed into our atmosphere. The eyewitness reports from this day were varied as they were terrifying. Ooh, Jesus. A huge, beautiful aurora could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. Damn. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night awoke, as though day had already arrived.
A coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the sky arrived, sparks showered from the electrical outlets everywhere, igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, or other explosives became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and caused commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world's population died as the result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, society as we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that had automated our routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past. Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted, and water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in an almost unsightly fashion. Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way, it had. Some people blamed whoever their belief system would allow, angry at the gods and that had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society. Not that anyone was listening. Practically, we were back in the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown, and the ensuing power vacuums filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronic devices left became rare, sought-after artifacts over which battles and even wars were fought. Of course, there were also wars over resources and territory. The weaponry used was improvised or reclaimed from the days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old bloody ways of war. Humanity is in shambles now. Those that I'd call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-sufficient city-state of survivors. A huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevents any outside interference. It's the only way we can retain a modicum of order. Gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside. They wouldn't hesitate to kill first and ask questions later if they had known about my PDA. Our contained community has flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise, and still have our own automated hospital that runs on salvage generators. Lately, though, supplies have started to run low, and dangerously so. The power we have is running out. Illnesses are spreading through the city, and treatment isn't as available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius of our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the wall that could help us. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal and you. You now know why this whole thing is so important to me. All our hopes lie in acquiring the generators you promised us. The act of sending Reza and me here has, without a doubt, already cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard from any other settlements for months now. The state of the rest of the world is unknown. When Reza and I were sent here, my peers made it clear that this was our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, we'll have sealed the fate of tens of thousands that live in our city.
I'm sorry, Pierce. I didn't know.
If what you're telling me is true, it unfortunately does not work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Reza a motive. Desperate times calls for desperate measures, after all. In that vein, it also gives you a motive. Considering the gravity of the human plight, it gives you all more reason to collaborate with him. I'm not. What Reza's doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances, because I'm your best bet at finding him. Even so, you would still be in grave danger after we announce Reza's involvement in the murders. I cannot and will not take responsibility for the consequences when I know of the risks. What about our deal, then? In the wake of this new information and as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed through the portal once this is over, under two conditions. Humanity must condemn Reza's actions, and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs.
I've changed my mind. You should let Pierce stay here.
I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. With my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Pierce sent back to the human world through the portal. Please. Immediately. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Pierce to the portal now.
I could do it myself, Minister.
Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief, and I would rather get that over with as quickly as possible.
In that case, one of my officers should be here at any moment. I arranged for him to meet us here.
How handy. Then let us wait for this officer of yours.
Oh, well, that's fucking cool. It didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After the situation was explained, he was visibly shocked, but didn't protest when he was given the task of sending me back through the portal.
Let's go, Pierce. Do I even get to say goodbye? Let us not waste any more time. You will still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side.
Just go, Pierce.
Come on, then. Damn, that sucks. We were silent as Sebastian and I slowly made our way to the portal. With each step I took, I drew closer and closer to the hopelessness waiting for me in the ruins of the human world. All in all, I certainly had a unique experience alongside these dragons, and although this place was filled with just as much drama and murder as back home, I would remember this world and all the people I've met. I would fondly think back to the days I spent in their comfortable standard of living, a shadow of how humanity used to be. Even without the generators, at the very least, I'd be returning home with a few life lessons. What's going on here?
Lost in thought, I hadn't even noticed the Dean approach. It's none of your concern. Please leave. Can't I even get a few minutes before I go? I suppose nobody's stopping us, but make it quick.
Hey, Pierce, what's going on here?
Something serious happened. Looks like I have to leave.
Right now? Why?
It was the minister's decision, not mine. You'll hear about it soon enough.
Does this have anything to do with what I've been hearing? Is Reza really a murderer?
I'm afraid so.
Oh. Well, what does that make you?
I don't have anything to do with that. I was helping the police find him.
Then why are you leaving?
They don't want me to stay here with all this going on. It's for my own safety.
Well, it was nice to get to know you at least.
Likewise. I guess I should get going.
Goodbye, Pierce.
Goodbye, Dean. I remember her. That was the witness from Reza's first murder. Do you know her? Yes. I see. I don't know why I was given a choice there. Odd moment. A few minutes later, we arrived at the portal, standing proud as ever in defiance of the elements. How many years had this structure survived before it was found? I hope I can remember how this thing works. Are you joking? Yeah, sorry. I got it. Alright, I suppose it's time for us to say goodbye. Let's keep it professional. I don't like to mix personal matters with work. He looked away and I shrugged. Go ahead and turn it on, then. Would you stand between the pillars, please? Of course. I took my place and stared towards the horizon while I thought about what would happen now in this world and others. Even if I made a break for it, I'd become a fugitive, no better than Reza. It would be near impossible to investigate the case by myself, while on the run in a world I knew so little about. At the very least, I took comfort in the fact that I did everything I could to help, even if it turned out like this. Nevertheless, I dreaded going back empty-handed and returning to my old life in our ruined city. Any second now, the teleportation process would start, disintegrating my body before I would reappear on the other side, back in my dying world. I wondered if there was any risk of getting lost somewhere between worlds. We didn't really know how the portals worked, after all. Maybe I would be flung somewhere else in space-time, or it might affect my body in some way. I hadn't noticed any unusual changes in my body since I arrived in the dragon's world, but I had no way of knowing if there were potential long-term side effects. I still remembered the images I saw when I teleported the first time, the vivid sights and patterns, people and situations I have recognized since then. It only took a moment to arrive at the other side of the portal, yet it felt like I had dreamed 1,000 dreams. And during the nights I spent here, these dreams had often reappeared. Any time now, I would undergo the same experience again. I was almost relieved that my adventure was over. Things that turned out far differently than than expected. I evaded danger, got swept into a murder investigation, and met incredible, intelligent beings from several different species. It had certainly been a time to remember. With that thought, I closed my eyes and braced myself for the moment that would come any second now. But the moment never came. The next thing that did happen was I heard Sebastian's voice. It's not working. Are you joking again? No, really, it's not working. Wait, what's this? Oh, shit. It's broken. Can you fix it? I don't think so. This doesn't look like a simple act of vandalism. It looks like parts were torn out. I guess that means I'm not leaving, huh? Not yet, at least. Well, what do we do now? Well, let's head back. The chief has to know about this right away. Shit, I thought for sure this is just going to be like I got the bad ending or something. We were back at the ministry before long. Emra and Bryce were still outside as Remy approached the two of them. Here are the case files, Emra. Why, thank you. Pierce and an officer? What is this about? What is this about, Emra? That was what I would like to know. Please, officer, enlighten me. Why has my order not been carried out? The portal's broken. It's broken? Yeah, it looks like someone tampered with it and stole parts. I couldn't even get the interface to turn on. We'll check it out once I'm done here. I suppose Pierce will stay with us a little longer after all. Seeing how this is an emergency situation, I will make this short. Chief, as a result of your carelessness regarding Maverick and Reza, you are temporarily removed from any duties related to the humans. Given these dangerous times, you will instead serve as my personal escort until further notice. Considering the circumstances, you will be allowed to coordinate the investigation of the portal. And after that, you are to immediately return to me and start your new task. Understood? Understood. Then all of you are dismissed. She turned to leave, Remy trailing after her. Alright, let's get back to the portal. That includes you, Pierce. Of course. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a sheet of paper on the ground. What was this? Emma dropped one of the case files. Emma had probably dropped one of the case files. Either her or her assistant. You better bring that to her. Sebastian and I should hurry to the portal. Meet us there afterwards, okay? Sure. I picked up the sheet and started reading. It was about what had happened when I met Reza at the portal. Of course, it didn't say anything I didn't already know. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if it was okay for an unauthorized person to enter the building. All I knew about this place was that Emra worked there. I did have an important document that was going to be missed, so I walked inside only to be greeted by an empty lobby. Luckily, there were some signs directing me to Emra's office. It didn't take long to find it. I heard voices when I approached the door. We will enter the office in the next episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, what's next episode, on the next one, I say, we'll do this on the next episode, and then I say, on the next episode, we're going to be doing this. It's redundant as shit. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained unprofessional speaker for the voices in my head when I say until next time. Fare thee well. Bye, everyone! God, I've been fighting burps this whole episode. This sucks. Let me burp, please!